Hello my stitchy friends, I am Christy, I'm the crosshatch quilter, and I am so excited to be back here talking to you today on Flosstube number 27. You'll be seeing this on Friday, July 14th, 2023, and I am hoping that you've had a great summer or fall if you're in the southern hemisphere. And we've just been enjoying spring and summer so much. The last time I filmed, I think it was the beginning of March, and we were just hoping for spring weather, and winter hung on for another like 2 months. I think we still had snow in our yard until like April 27th. So it was crazy, but since spring has finally arrived and now summer, it has been just so appreciated. And I've been gone for about 4 months. I haven't made a video. Hopefully I know how to still make these, but I just was working on one project monogamously and really didn't have much to show there for a long time. And then after I completed that project, I kind of lost my stitchy bug, and so, but it is back, and it is back in full force. I am so excited about my projects and can't wait to hurry and get all my things I need to get done for the day so that I can stitch. So I'm excited to share with you today. I've got some framing back, some finishes, some starts, some WIPS, and some happy mail. So let's get started. So I'm filming in my front room today, and I have my good buddy Gustaver with me, and he is taking a nap on the couch. I knew that if I sat on the couch, he would just be on my lap, so I set up a table. That way I can have all of my projects stacked up and easily accessible. But I just got back my grandma's sampler from the framer, and my dad brought it to me in the spring when he came to visit. My framer is in Salt Lake. I don't have a framer here where I live. And so it's always kind of an ordeal or a process to get anything to the framer and back from the framer. So I really appreciate him bringing this to me. This is Jane Tyndall by Needlework Press, and I took off Jane Tyndall's name and I added my grandmother's name, and she went by Marjorie. This is my paternal grandmother. I never met her. She passed away the same day that I was born, and so I never got to know her, but everything that I've heard about her, she was a quilter and she loved being creative and she loved animals, and my dad always tells me that I remind him of her. So this is what I imagined when I thought of a sampler for her, what her life was like. She lived on a farm and she had 6 children. So I liked how this had 6 sheep that the shepherd or shepherdess is tending after. And I just absolutely love this sampler. It is, I say this probably about every single one of them, but it is by far one of my very favorites. And I just think it is so pretty. I picked out kind of like a green frame with a gold fillet, and I just loved stitching this. It reminds me, when I look at it, of last year in my crazy life. Last year we sold our house and lived in a fifth wheel for 2 months, and most of the time that I was filling in all of the grass, I was in my camp trailer. And then I think I finished it right when we moved into this house. So that's what this one always reminds me of. It's funny how your stitching always reminds you of what you were doing when you were stitching that particular piece. So I'm really excited to have this back, and it will join the others here on my heritage wall. I'm planning on stitching a sampler for each one of my grandmas as far back as I can go on my lineage. So thanks for letting me share that with you. So after my last video, I didn't stitch on multiple projects like I normally do. I usually have, 3 to 5 projects going at any one time, but I just really focused on one sampler monogamously, and that was Mary Barr sampler by Stacy Nash. And I just picked it up and I worked on it until it was done. And I think it took me, a month and a half, 2 months. I can't remember exactly what date I finished it. But I really enjoyed working on this, and I will insert a picture here of where I was last time. So as you can see, I still had a long way to go. And here is, it's so big I can barely fit it in the frame. So I stitched a Mary Barr sampler by Stacy Nash in honor of my great paternal grandmother, Mary Edith Hunter Coates. And this is my dad's mom, my dad's grandma. He remembers sleeping over at her house. She had a covered front porch that was screened in, and he remembers her warming up bricks and slipping them in the sheets to make him nice and cozy and comfortable. She had a great big garden and a farm. She became a widow very early on in life, in her 40s, and was left behind with a large family to raise and a farm to take care of. So this sampler just looked like her to me, and I will insert a picture here of my grandma, my great grandma. So as you can see, she had lots of flowers, and her apron is so cute. The blue and the pink reminded me of the colors in the Mary Barr sampler, and just all of the garden and the landscaping there. So this was so much fun to stitch. I was so excited to finally get this done. It was kind of a push at the end. All of the over one was a little bit challenging. As you can see there, all the over one. So she had 6 kids, and I put all of their initials up here instead of the initials that was on the sampler. But everything else I kept the same. I just added her name here, and then my great-grandfather's name and the date they were married. And so I'm so excited to have this done. I stitched this on 36 count parchment by weeks with all the called for weeks. And the chart calls for 7 skeins of Schneckly. So you really have to like Schneckly, which I do, to enjoy stitching this. It was just such a pleasure. I had some motivation and some cheerleaders along the way. Celeste from Celeste Creates, she stitched on her Mary Barrs with me, and then my friends Yvette and Carol, they started Mary Barrs while I was working on this. So I felt like I had a cheering section to finish her, but I'm really glad to have her done. It wasn't one of my goals to finish her. I just wanted to make sure that I worked on her this year, but I've really decided to focus on trying to stitch samplers on my dad's line, and I wanted this one for her, so it went to the top of the list. And it was so fun to stitch it this spring. As we were coming out of winter, it just kept me motivated that winter would pass and we were going to get spring and flowers. So there is my first finish for this Flosstube. So after I finished Mary Barrs, I kind of went in a stagnant stitching mood for a little bit there, and I did other things with my time. When I finally picked my stitching back up, I was in the mood for just to finish some more smalls, to finish some stuff, because I had worked on such a big project for so long that I was like, I just want to work on little, snack size stitching. So the first thing that I picked up was Keeper of the Pins, and this is by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. And I had stitched most of these last year. I had stitched the bird and these 2 petals with words, and I had stitched the spool with the tomatoes, but I hadn't stitched the lady yet, so that only took a couple hours to get her finished up. I started it and maybe had like the scissors and her head started last year, so I finished that, And then I just need to fully finish these two into little pillows to add to my tomato display. And then I had been working on the maker and the mender last time, and I got that fully finished, or I got that finished stitching. I stitched this on 36 count vintage buttercream by Lakeside Linens, and I used all the called for threads except for the reds. I just darkened them up. I used Mulberry by Gentle Arts, Chili Pepper by Classic Colorworks, and Terracotta by Gentle Arts as my reds. And then I used all the other the called for threads on the blue. It didn't show up on my linen very well, so I used the dark blue. I believe it was Blue Corn instead of Mountain Mist. And other than that, it's just all the called for. I absolutely love this so much. I'm excited to get it framed. I want to frame it exactly like Brenda framed hers from Brenda and the Cereal Starter. I absolutely love it so much. So I want to get that framed and added to my sewing room. So this next sampler is one that I stitched with my friend Lori. I was so excited when spring started to roll around that I called her up and I'm like, let's finish Winter is Past. We had started this together last spring and we both were about halfway done, and then we set it aside. So we had worked on this, I think in March, and got that done. I love this so much. So I am going to put this in my bedroom when it gets done being framed. And I absolutely, it's my colors in my bedroom. It's grays, browns, blues, all different shades, and a little bit of green. And I'm really excited to get that one sent off to the framers. I want to get it up in my bedroom. But this one is just like my color palette. I just love it so much, and it was so fun to stitch it with Lori. I stitched mine on the called for linen, which is Oaken by Picture This Plus, 36 count with all the called for threads. The only change that I made is I didn't fill in this basket right here. I put in some stitches in it to do the satin stitches, and I preferred the way it looked without the fill in. So that was my only change, but I used all the called for threads, and I'm so excited to have that one done. And I started another piece to go in my bedroom as soon as I got that one done, and I'll show that to you here in a little bit. And then on July 4th, this is a new start, but also a WIP because it's part of a series. I picked up lesson number 3 in Abecedarian, Summer Schoolhouse by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Mushroom by Zweigart. And here is my start on that. I'm stitching with all the called for threads, and I absolutely love it. It's 40 count. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So that was one of my goals this year, is to get this series completed. So I needed to start working on them or I'm not gonna finish my goal. I have this project in my little bag that Brenda had offered on her Country Stitches Online website. So then I really have just been wanting to focus on everything that I showed in my first video for the year, all of my WIPs that I want to either get done or just want to work on in the year 2023. So then I picked up Summer by Blackbird Designs, and I just love this. It's funny because it's a series that's just got summer, autumn, and winter in it, and I'm like, where'd spring go? But it's still pretty. It has the alphabet across the top, so spring wouldn't really fit. But I've got this in my Blackbird Designs fabric bag. I don't remember the name of it. It's an old line of theirs. And I am stitching this on the called for linen, which I had been hoarding for Forever in a Day, which is 30 count Irish cream. Actually, I think this is 32 count Irish cream. So I'm stitching this with all the called for threads, and I'm using 2 strands over 2 linen threads. But in the winter, I had picked up the winter chart and started working on it, and then I made a huge boo-boo and had to unpick a whole bunch of the pomegranates down here. So then when spring and summer rolled around, I picked this up and finished the strawberries and the bird on that one, on that section. So I feel like I have a good chance of getting this one finished for my goal of 2023. I love that so much. I just love the colors, and Blackbird they just know how to make all the colors just sing together. And it doesn't even matter what color palette. It can be cool tones like the blues in Winter's Past, or a more warmer color palette. They're just perfect. And then I've been working on my Sal that I joined with Yvette for her big birthday last October. So this is in Fig Tree Fabrics. It's called Tapestry. It's an old fabric line. So I love that. And the sampler that I'm talking about is Elizabeth Furness, 1836 by Hands Across the Sea. Oh, this sampler is so fun, and it is a big, big girl. As I stitch on it, I always think I'm so glad that we're stitching this as a group and there's assignments, because it's kind of a big one to tackle. And if you don't have a plan, I think it would just be easy to set down and not pick it back up, because she's just so big and kind of daunting a little bit overwhelming. But it has been super fun to stitch it with Yvette and Becky Socks for Mom and Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. And here is mine. I got the flowered, we stitched the rose last month, and then this month's assignment was to come over with the 1/1 words. I have stitched a lot of over 1 lately on Mary Barr's and then on this sampler. And it just takes time. It's just a patience and a tedious, thing, but I just love how it looks. And this is one of my very favorite verses on a reproduction sampler. I just love it so much, and it just speaks to my heart. So I finished the over 1 words, and then we needed to bring over the carnations. And I thought that Yvette said, go to the angel. And so I just went over all the way, and I stitched the berry basket as well. So I jumped ahead when I didn't mean to, but there is the top section. And then here is my bottom section. We need to be about over here and up. I have catch up to do on the bottom, which is fine because I love fill in, and I'm going to have some visitors this month, so I will have lots and lots of fill in time, so that will be fine. But I absolutely love the sampler. She is a big, big girl. But I think that we're on track to be finishing her up towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year. So that is, we call her Lizzie. That's Lizzie Furness. And I'm stitching it on 36 count baby sheet from XJU Design with the called for Avera Swadelge silks. And I love the coverage of Swadelge on 36 count. It is the coverage of a regular thread on 40 count, so that's what I really love about it. And I'll be back here in just a minute. I need to take a water break, and I'll be back with a bunch of WIPS, or a bunch of starts. I feel like I'm out of practice of making these videos. So I have a stack of summer projects that I have been working on. And the first one is a start, kind of. I started this last summer, and then I got COVID. I put in about, I don't know, 50 stitches in it, and then I set it aside because I just didn't feel good and gave up on it for a while. But this is Live on Little by Plum Street Samplers. And I absolutely love this piece. I love the sentiment, and I can't wait to get it finished. I know exactly where I want to put it, and usually that's a driving force to if I'm going to get something finished or not. I have it housed in my Blackbird Designs fabric, their newest collection. There's got the sampler fabric on the inside. And I am stitching this with all the called for threads. There is a lot of DMC in there. They're really pretty. And some Weeks Dye Works. Paulette always picks a beautiful color palette. So I'm stitching this on 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And there is my start and progress so far. So like last summer, I'd literally done like the corner here and the H and just gave up. So I'm happy to be back at it. I don't know how much progress I will be making this year. It's going to definitely be a long-term project because it is a big girl. There's a lot of fill-in on this one, and I love fill-in projects. It's just nice to get it outlined, and there's days when you just want comfort stitching, and that is comfort stitching at its finest for me. So I don't know how far I'll get on that. I don't have it slotted as a finish for this year or anything like that, but we'll see. And then I've just been really enjoying small projects. I don't usually do small projects. I get like tunnel vision on my big projects, and after I finish Mary Barr's, I've just really been enjoying little snack projects that, you know, I can get done, and I feel like I have accomplished something. So I stitched this one this week, and this is Sweet Summer Come Again by Blackbird Designs. And I stitched it on the called for Wren by Pictures Plus with all the called for threads. And I did both little projects. Here's the berry bowl. And I'm planning on finishing it just like this into a little drum. And I finished the other one last night. And I think I'll finish this one as a little drum as well. So that'll be fun in a little strawberry display. I love Blackbird Designs, but I have to be in the right mood for them because there's lots of little color changes, and it seems to take a lot longer than you think it's going to take. Like when I picked this up, I thought I was going to be able to stitch both of these in one day. No, that didn't that didn't happen, but they're still a quick stitch, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So I have, I've had this housed in my strawberry bag. This is a Fig Tree Fabrics, and I have, as you can see, a whole bunch more projects in there that I'm hoping to one day start. I don't know when that will be, but it's fun to have them all in their own bag, so when I want to stitch a strawberry, I can just quickly find it. And then this one, I have loved this ever since it came out, and when I saw Carol stitching it on her Carol Salt box, I'm like, that's it, I'm picking mine up and stitching it. I already had it all kitted up. And this is Flag Flock by Plum Street Samplers. And I just love those sheep. This reminds me of 4th of July parades. And here in Utah, we have the 24th that we celebrate as well. And in both, we have parades. And so July is just a fun parade for us here. And I live in a small town where they still do it in the old style with all the fire trucks and the cowboys and the horses, and it's really fun. So I'm stitching this with all the called for threads. They're in Flosstube bags. I don't know how well you'll be able to see them. Most of them are Weeks Dye Works and a few DMC thrown in there. So Carol had sent me fabric a couple of years ago, and she sent enough for me to make her a bag and me a bag. So I have this housed in my Carol bag. And here is my start on Flag Flock. I'm stitching this on the called for 36 count vintage country mocha, and I have all the animals outlined so I can just do a fun fill in, and then I need to just finish all of the motifs, and there's back stitching on this one of stars and a flag. So I'm hoping to get this finished in the month of July. This has been a really fun stitch. I haven't stitched very many things on vintage country mocha, but it's a very easy linen. After stitching on 40 count and then going to this, it's like really a breeze. It's just quick stitching. So that is really fun. And they have, Paulette has another piece in her parades, on the subject of parades. And I will have to insert a picture here. I can't remember the name of it, but I intend on stitching that one as well. It has a horse pulling, I believe, a sheep. And it has like some stars and fireworks or whatever. So those will be fun to put on my patriotic wall. My patriotic wall is, as you saw in the very beginning of my video, a lot of houses. So I needed to have some other type of patriotic other than just houses. I love houses. My daughter always teases me that that's all I stitch is houses, but I mean, I think we all are the same way, right? All the stitchers, it just makes you feel like you're stitching your home, and we like to decorate that way. So there's nothing wrong with that, but got to mix it up a little bit. So then I was telling you that I had started another Blackbird Designs piece after I had finished Winter's Past to go in my bedroom. And here's the colors of my bedroom. So I'm actually making a quilt right now out of these fabrics for my bedroom. I'll have to show that to you in another video. And I started, it's Spring Fever by Blackbird Designs. This is for the Birds Loose Feather series. And I originally had told you I wanted to start this, and I was planning on doing it all on one piece. And I had gotten that idea from Laura DeWitt from Brenda and the Cereal Starter. But I had decided, after talking to my friend Yvette, that I wanted to stitch them individually and frame them individually like that. So that's what I'm going to do. That way I can scatter them around my room, and I just don't have really a lot of walls in my bedroom that are big enough to hold a big sampler. So this is my start on this one. And this one is 36 count Wren with all of the called for threads. And I'm really excited to be working on this project. It's a project I've wanted to start for a few years. And so I'm just super jazzed and energized about it. I don't know how many I'll finish like out of the gate. I intend on finishing all of them. There's 9 in the series. And I'm sure you've seen them all, but I will show them to you really quick. But right now, I want to for sure finish 2. So the first one is the one I'm working on. It's Spring Fever, and then All the Hills Echoed. A sweet viewer sent me this chart. This is the next one I'm going to stitch. So there will be 2 at least next on either side of Winter is Past, and then Light Upon the Lawn. But like I said, I'm planning on stitching all of them eventually. I absolutely love them. And again, there's lots of color changes. But that's what makes a Blackbird Designs so pretty and aesthetically pleasing. And I just have been like a little starting bunny. Little smalls though. So my next project, I have the threads housed in my little bag here. My friend Cindy came to visit me here at my house, and she brought me this bag that she had made. So cute. And then I have the chart in my red and white bag. And I started another Blackbird Designs. I've been on a Blackbird kick apparently. And this is Honeybee Hill by Blackbird Designs, and I started both charts. So this first one is called Her Majesty, and I can't remember this linen that I am stitching it on, but I believe it is a 30 count. It's kind of a waste, to be honest, to stitch it on this linen because I'm going to finish it as the pillow on the front. So it's just going to be cut off here. So unfortunately that was kind of a poor choice but it looks super cute on it. And I'm using all the called for threads on this one. This is an older chart. And then here is the other chart in the book. And this is finished on a drum, a Lone Elm box. And I'm going to finish it that same way. So hopefully I will have a finish on these sooner than later this summer, so I can get those displayed. And then my last start is my very favorite start. I saved it for last, but I started it out of all of these first. I started this with my sweet friend Lori, and I went to Salt Lake to visit her for her birthday in February, and I just could not wait to start this. It's Every Opening Flower with a needle and thread, and this will always remind me of Lori. I have this in a Lori bag. This is her Farm Girl vintage fabrics. Love it. And the baby chicks. And then there's little like tracks, chicken tracks on the inside. So I love that bag. I'm stitching this with all the called for threads, which is Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and Weeks. It's a mix. It's Brenda's typical, very beautiful color palette, which is one of my very favorites. I love her colors that she picks. And here is my progress on that. So in February, I literally just barely started this one corner Quaker motif, and then I set it down to finish Mary Barr's, and I didn't pick it up for a couple months, but I have been working on it recently, and I just love this. I think this is honestly, I can honestly say this is one of my very favorite stitches I've ever stitched. I love the colors. I just love everything about it. It has all of our favorite things. The alphabet, it has the house, it has animals, the flowers. So I am stitching it on 36 count Winter's Brew, which is the called for. And I absolutely can't wait to get it done and up on my wall. Brenda has several pieces that kind of have the same theme or look to them, and I'm planning on making a collage wall of her. Just super lovely classic pieces. So, and then this piece will always remind me of Lori because the bee skip and the bees on there. Super fun. I'm so glad that we have stitched this together, and I get to see Lori here this month, and I believe that we are going to start another piece together. So I'll share that with you next time. But I'm so glad that I'm back to stitching because I didn't know what was wrong with me there for a while. I think I was just excited about spring and got busy doing fun things with my daughter, and that's okay too. We need to have other interests other than stitching, but I'm so glad to be back here sharing my stitching with you. I have some Happy Mail and treats from Fat Quarter Shop to share with you. And my first bit of Happy Mail came from Sweet Sarah. She is Sarah's Stitchy Spot here on YouTube. And she had messaged me saying that she had zippers that she was never going to use. They're Lori Holt zippers. And she knew that I make project bags and if I could use them. And I said, well, why, yes, I could. So she sent me the cutest card. I absolutely love that sampler. As a Hands Across the Sea card. And she put a sticky note on the card and said that she could not bring herself to write on this card. And I'm the same way. I collect these cards, hoping that one day maybe I'll make like there's patterns on the back of these, and making a collage of certain smalls from her Hands Across the Sea samplers. But so she sent me these awesome double zip zippers from Lori Holt. And she sent me there's a whole packet of them. So thank you, Sarah. I will definitely put those to good use. They'll definitely get used. And then my next little fun treat is from my friend Penny. She is a Sheep Girl here on Instagram. And I had made her a project bag, and she has always been such a sweet, supportive viewer that has always sent me kind messages and sweet happy mail, which is totally unnecessary, but it is so sweet. So she sent me this box that is it called Decoupaged from Stacy Nash, and then there's a waxer that went with it, and it's a little sampler on the top, and so fun to hold your waxers or accoutrements. I have it displayed with all my stitching, and I absolutely love it. She also sent Haley a cute little lip gloss and treat. And then I got my monthly cross stitch stitchy bowl from Pine Needles. They are in Utah. They're in Gardner Village, and they're a quilt shop and a cross stitch needle shop, and the owner designs patterns, cross stitch patterns. They're so cute. I don't know if you can see, oh, the glare spout, sorry. So there's 2 smalls, and then they send you all the other accoutrements to make it just a fun stitchy bowl for each month. And this is July's. There's some of the goodies in the back. So they send a little postcard each month to go in there, and just little bowl fillers. So I'm excited to get that started. I need to go get some DMC for it. And then my good friend Laura, we all love her, we all know her from Brenda and the Serial Starter. And she had messaged me saying that she was sending me something that she just knew that I needed to have. And I absolutely don't deserve this, but she sent me the sweetest package ever, ever, ever. And that is the kit for the Light of Winter. And this is going to be released this year. It's from Brenda with I Needle and Thread. And it is the follow-up piece for Winter Rose Manor. And she went to this retreat, and she said she wasn't going to stitch it, and so she sent it along to me, and it's so special. It came in this beautiful box I'd shown you, and it just has fun accoutrements for it. When you finish your stitching, it has a little card for the back so that you can make record of your stitching, of what it was. And she sent me all of the threads. A lot of them are on these fun cards that have the sampler on them. There are a lot of Weeks Dye Works and DMC. And I'm so excited because Laura had started this. And I have since then put in a very few amount of stitches down here. I started working on the tree and the angel. But that will be so special to have a piece that has Laura's stitching on it as well. And I cannot wait to work on this. I will most likely start working on it on the 25th of each month, and hopefully get it done before fall so that I can get it framed. I absolutely love it so much, and thank you so much, Laura. This community is so amazing, and I am just so blessed to be part of it. She also sent a accompaniment piece that Brenda had given them at the retreat. This is Autumn Splendor. I love that bird. So I'll definitely be finishing that as well with it came with the kit for the thread and the linen. And then I have some goodies from the Fat Quarter Shop. They always send the funnest stuff. I have enjoyed collecting these, and I need to start working on them because I love them. And this is Stitch Cards by Lori Holt. So this is set O and set P. They're so fun. This stitching theme is so cute on that one, or sewing. And then they sent Hank, which is from the Chicken Club from Lori. Absolutely love those, they're so cute. And then this is a It's So Emma design, which is Fat Quarter Shop. And I absolutely love these, they're so cute. I want to stitch all 3 of these pillows. Super fun. You can get that at Fat Quarter Shop. And then they have continued their ornament series that I absolutely adore, that looks like little cookies in those tins. And I guess they look like pies in tins. But this is their patriotic ornaments. Super, super cute. And then I have been so excited to get this. They sent the book from Susan Aki, which is Summer Memories, and this has quilts and cross stitch in it. There's not one project that I wouldn't stitch or sew in here, but you've probably seen a lot of Flosstubers show this because it is such a popular project this summer, and a stitch along and quilt along. There is the cross stitch pieces on the back there. They're super sweet and super cute. So I'm excited to work on a project in here. There's been a quilt along with Summer Picnic quilt, and I didn't join in when they were doing the quilt along, but I absolutely want to make this quilt. I absolutely love baskets and those fabrics. I've seen it made with fall fabrics. It would look good in any colorway. Okay, these 2 cuties wanted to get in here and say hello and thank you for watching our Flosstube video. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. And this is Hazel and Gus. It's so hard to hold them. They're so he's so heavy. She's like half the amount that he weighs. So until next time, happy stitching.